This is Hitoyoshi in his utterly filthy home on a fateful day. Suddenly, a stunning maid appears, asking if he can hire her as a servant, leaving him frozen in shock. This must be destiny unfolding, so he invites her into his cluttered mess, excusing the chaos by saying his parents are away, making it a bit dirty. Let me introduce her Yuki, a top-tier assassin, yet she's eager to serve as Hitoyoshi's maid. He's puzzled, wondering if she's serious or joking, and thinks if she's into illegal stuff, he should send her away. When he asks what she can do, Yuki innocently replies that her main skills are in assassination, killing and eliminating traitors to her master. She's here because he recommended her. Hitoyoshi is stunned, feeling like he's in a movie. He realizes that the more beautiful someone is, the more dangerous, so he considers sending her away. But Yuki reveals their connection. Hitoyoshi is the grandson of the woman in the house, the second child of distant relatives on the master's side. He's still trying to piece it together, knowing it's distant family. To be sure, he asks her to demonstrate her assassination skills. Out in the garden, Yuki swiftly pulls hidden weapons, flips gracefully, and hurls knives into a tree, terrifying Hitoyoshi. She's no ordinary person, she's like a force of nature. She seems passionate about it, beaming with joy as she shows off. Normally, one throw from her would end a life, but here, she's just demonstrating for him. Hitoyoshi sits there trembling, thinking if he upsets her, he might not survive. He has no enemies, so he doesn't need her deadly talents. Besides, he doesn't even know who her master is, so he can't hire her. Yuki feels a bit sad, but accepts it gracefully. Though an assassin, she's polite, bidding him farewell before leaving. Hitoyoshi feels a twinge of guilt. She's wondering what she expected, as an assassin lost in uncertainty. Then, she hears Hitoyoshi calling. He's returning the bell she dropped, but in his rush, he runs into a car. With lightning reflexes, Yuki dashes in and saves him. Luckily, they're unharmed. Her face is beautiful, full of worry and care, touching his heart. It's her first time saving someone directly. Her heart races, unsure why. Hitoyoshi hands back her hairbell and sees her off. But seconds later, he changes his mind, saying he needs help with cleaning, and asks if she's up for it. Soon, they're back home, discussing her weapon collection. They say the spear was humanity's first tool, simple to use, yet deadly effective. It can take a life in one strike. Hitoyoshi suddenly feels foolish for inviting an assassin to live with him. He clarifies that from now on she only needs to handle cleaning. The naive maid thinks that's about killing, so he quickly explains it's just household chores, like tidying up the trash bags. Oh, and she mistakes them for body bags. In his mind, it's risky, but since she saved him, he's not seeing her as evil. Once she understands, she innocently asks if doing housework well means she can stay. Sadly, she's never handled anything but weapons, so she's clumsy. Feeling useless, she apologizes, fearing dismissal, but Hitoyoshi gives her a chance anyway. Though she's not great at it, her assassin skills are impressive. She slips, but doesn't fall. Seeing her sad, Hitoyoshi comforts her, saying, "I gave you unfamiliar tasks and even wiped you down." This wins her over, as no one's ever done that to an assassin before. He promises not to send her away and to help her improve. Later, with guidance, they clean the living room together. Hitoyoshi thanks the beautiful maid, making her smile. At mealtime, he asks if she can cook. Her gloomy face says no. Unable to cook, he sends her to bathe while he figures it out. In the bath, Yuki reflects on his kind words, amazed at such goodness in the world. He's waiting outside, imagining her fiery figure, but she emerges in her usual attire. For veggies, she takes charge, as no one handles knives like her. Tossing cabbage into the air, she slices it perfectly with one swift move, delighted that her cabbage hunt is complete. Next, it's instant miso soup, and quick snacks, no time for elaborate cooking, since Hitoyoshi isn't a pro either. Asking if she's tried tonkatsu, she says no. As a top assassin, she only cares about her work. Food is just fuel. To her, meals are about survival, with no thought for taste or presentation. Hitoyoshi pitches it. Try tonkatsu, and your world will change. It's from a 60-year-old shop, the pride of the neighborhood, with affordable, delicious dishes she's go-to when hungry. No wonder his house is full of wrappers. That's the source of the mess. Yuki listens blankly, not quite grasping it. She offers him the whole portion, but he divides it, sharing like family. So, they enjoy tonkatsu with rice and miso soup that he made. Yuki tastes it and feels nothing from the meat to the rice or soup. Her assassin life has dulled her senses, but remembering his effort, it feels warmer than usual. When asked if it's good, she lies to make him happy. Seeing his bright smile, Yuki doesn't know what this power is, but he feels warmer than any bath or meal. Hitoyoshi arranges for her to stay upstairs, changing sheets and pillows. Despite the mess though, she doesn't need luxuries. A place to stay is enough. Grateful for his effort, she thanks him. Watching her eat tonkatsu without sauce, he guides her. She tries it his way, and suddenly, her taste buds awaken, stirred by his sincerity. She's never felt such bliss from food, leaving her speechless. Now, she ponders that special sauce from the shop. Night falls, and Hitoyoshi cries in his sleep, like something's choking him. He's had nightmares before, always ending in tears. Glancing at the clock, it's 3 a.m., and he's hungry. He heads to the kitchen for instant noodles but hears strange noises, reminding him of the assassin Maid, so he creeps closer, fearing the worst. Yuki's in white pajamas, looking almost ghostly, but up close, she's adorable. Craving that magical sauce from earlier, she's sneaking a taste. Realizing her mistake, she apologizes, thinking it's his precious hoard. He doesn't mind, feeling relieved she's not up to no good. Knowing she's hungry too, he decides to make noodles for both. Yuki says, "If I die tomorrow, my greatest wish is to taste that sauce once more." This sparks an idea in Hitoyoshi for a late-night feast. He pulls out everything for dipping in the sauce. It's the star, no matter what. The maid is overjoyed, not caring about the rest. Later, Yuki asks about his nightmares. It's surprising, as she heard his whimpers while sneaking down and grabbed her weapons, thinking assassins were attacking. Finding nothing, she saw him crying alone. Hitoyoshi feels embarrassed letting a girl see his vulnerability. Yuki adds that in his sleep he called for Mom repeatedly. Surprisingly, she once dreamed of talking to a giant sauce jar, big enough to last a lifetime, but woke up at the climax, shattering the dream. Hitoyoshi is speechless. It's her best dream yet. Past ones were full of blood and violence, leaving no warmth. Now she yearns to dream of that sauce giant again. Hearing about his crying, she's sad, unsure how to comfort him. Sharing his deep pain, Hitoyoshi feels lighter. He shares how his mother abandoned him, and in nightmares, she'd let him rest on her lap. Yuki offers the same, but he refuses, saying that's for kids. She thinks of her life born only to kill, feeling broken, but Hitoyoshi surprises her by lying down, rebuilding her spirit. He's hooked now. Yuki calls his name and lulls him to sleep well, maybe not, with those distractions around. After a few days, she reflects on saving him, her heart pounding, blood rushing, a thrill she's never felt, even in battles. It moved her body on instinct. Waking to a tidy house, she's happy, having minimized space by cutting things precisely. Hitoyoshi thanks her, knowing the house won't be messy anymore. Taking out the trash, they find a cute dog left at the door with a note, "Please take care of it." Hitoyoshi is at a loss for words. Yuki reads the former owner's letter, learning they thought it was a small breed, but it grew huge, so they couldn't keep it. Assuming Hitayoshi's family is wealthy, they left it here. He's furious at the tone. What if he couldn't handle it? Poor dog. Picking it up, he finds it funny looking, and Yuki asks if he'll keep it. Of course, he can't leave it in the heat, it's just a pup at heart. From experience, it's big but young, unlikely to survive alone. Yuki sees it differently, saying even the young can endure, as she was abandoned like an animal and survived through instinct. Saving out of pity can lead to tragedy. This dog was left because that's its fate, no one needs it. Without strength, it'll fall. Hitoyoshi, if you save it carelessly, that responsibility will haunt you. He asks if he can handle the consequences. Hitoyoshi doesn't grasp the depth, but reflects on his own rescue. It wasn't pity Yuki saved him out of instinct. When you can save a life, your body acts first. This enlightens her. It's the natural human response, even for a retired assassin. As someone abandoned, he understands the dog's pain, so he'll care for it a while, hoping to find it a home. Inside, he finds the pup fascinating, round, well-behaved and cute, wanting to share the joy with Yuki. But she's distant and refuses, so he brings it over, discovering that despite being an assassin, she's afraid of dogs. It's ironic. Her admission embarrasses her, as it's disastrous for her image. He asks why, and she recalls her master abandoning her on a mountain with wolves as training, leaving lasting trauma. Understanding, Hitoyoshi thinks keeping the dog might be tough. Hearing this, Yuki feels sad, seeing herself as hard to handle too. She apologizes for being useless, but he explains it's about giving the pup a real home to avoid loneliness. So, despite her fear, he asks her to endure. Grasping his intent, she agrees to hold it. It bites her, startling her like a near-death experience. To Hitoyoshi, the pup's like a puffy mochi. Yuki sees it as fierce with fangs and claws, a destructive combo. She thinks of throwing it, but he stops her. Now, she's terrified for life. Apologizing for her weakness, he gets bitten too, realizing it's teething. On their way for food, they visit the vet for a checkup and supplies. Everyone stares at the beautiful maid and the comical dog. He asks her to pick quality items, making the pup thrilled. By evening, it's wobbling around, and he thanks her for trying. Yuki sees him as truly kind, something absent in her assassin world. There, failure is unacceptable, gentleness creates distance. She struggles to meet his needs, failing often, yet he never scolds, weighing on her. She wants to be useful to deserve staying, as her world was for the strong only. Living with him, despite limitations, he never criticizes. She wonders if, like the pup, saved young, she could have felt this warmth and become what he wants. Can she stay here? Does this world need someone like her? Hitoyoshi is about to answer when the pup pulls him away. Despite its clumsiness, it's strong. He cheerfully asks if she's giving up her old life for normal Sai. It's wonderful. She's never thought of it, as killing was her only value. Yet he says she can abandon it all for a normal life. She wishes for a place to learn more about him. He admits he was scared at first. It's not every day you meet a real assassin. But after days together, he sees her kindness. This reminds her of her innocent past, before losing everything. She asks him to teach her to be normal. He says it's tough, but failure is part of it, so no need to be ashamed. The next day, as the pup relaxes under the AC, Yuki learns normal life, starting with cutting veggies like a regular person. Slicing rhythmically isn't hard if focused. Suddenly the dog sneaks up, startling her, unbelievably an assassin like her, caught off guard. She thinks it's no ordinary dog, but notices it's shaking from hunger, not fear. Somehow, she understands its feelings. This must be a normal person's skill. Seeing it's gentle, she considers petting it, but Hitoyoshi returns, distracting her. She feeds it, and he approves. The dog eats heartily. No wonder it's so round, that's why it was abandoned. Eating like that would break any wallet. He names it Mochi. Seeing her master veggie cutting like a pro, he praises her, brightening her day. With other tasks, he asks her to play with Mochi to learn normalcy. He assures it's gentle, so no issues. To her, it's still fierce, but his words give her strength. She pets the goofy dog, and it loves it better than his touch. Gradually, she warms to puffy Mochi. Understanding each other reveals the good in one another. As a reward, that night, Hitoyoshi treats her to okonomiyaki with that special sauce, making her blissful. Seeing her joy, he offers more. She refuses, but her hands beg otherwise, so he makes extra. He teaches that being selfish about likes isn't bad. If she has personal requests, just ask. It's her reward for bonding with Mochi. Asking her birthday, she doesn't know. She was born in a heavy winter snowstorm. Her name means snow pure and beautiful. Hitoyoshi reflects. Snow can be warm, like covering a house, protecting seeds below to survive the cold and grow strong. This makes Yuki realize staying here could teach her why the world feels warm and why Hitoyoshi stirs her heart. Looking to the future, she's overjoyed. Soon, he has a favor, giving him an earring for school to show his transformation. He's not brave enough, so he asks her. She hesitates, thinking it's a punishment game, wondering what she did wrong. Piercing seems terrifying, even for an assassin used to worse. He stops her, but guests arrive. It's Riko, his cute sister, excited by Mochi's photos. Shocked to see the beautiful maid, she's thrilled, admiring the clean house and dog. She scolds him for not mentioning Yuki sooner. Their family is unique. Dad agreed to the maid idea. Riko wonders if he's hiding it because she loves beauty. They introduce themselves. She calls herself Wise Riko for Yuki to remember. Yuki says she's a maid assassin. Hitoyoshi is mortified for not warning her. Riko's excited, calling her amazing and asking for an autograph. Even without writing skills, Yuki draws her name, making them laugh. It's unique. They learn her language talents from her assassin days. She's embarrassed about her handwriting, but fluent in 12 languages. Riko finds it endearing, not a flaw. Inspired, Riko wants Yuki as her summer research subject. Hitoyoshi can't stop it. She's all in, as Riko is his sister. Riko's first wish, see Yuki's assassin skills. He warns her not to write anything wild for school. She promises to just compare her to a graceful assassin maid. Yuki demonstrates in the garden, flipping and throwing knives at an apple on Riko's head. Hitoyoshi's heart races, but Riko's ecstatic. She asks about Yuki's hidden weapons. She carries 16 normally, but now only 5 per his request. 1 at her chest, 4 under her skirt. He stops her from showing more. Her accessories like the bell are deadly. Enemies hear it as they fall. Riko wants to imitate her coolness. Hungry, they head for hamburgers. Spotting a fireworks festival poster, Riko wants to go. Hitoyoshi mentions Yuki's favorite sauce there, sparking her excitement. They agree, and Riko drags Yuki to play. First, shooting games for stuffed animals. Riko fails. Yuki's worse, as she's knife expert, not gun savvy. Next, fish catching. Yuki excels, shocking the owner. Riko treats her as a master, learning her stealth tips. She guides Riko, making the owner call her a gentle sister. At the rice cake stand, they find lots of kuta sauce. Yuki's thrilled, and Riko enjoys the fun, as long as it's tasty. Yuki eats like a squirrel, amusing Riko. Hitoyoshi watches, speechless. The owner, seeing her enjoyment, gifts her sauce and cakes, making her happier. Riko runs for drinks, and Hitoyoshi worries she'll get lost. It's Yuki's first real festival joy. Past ones were missions mixed with loneliness. As fireworks light up, she's amazed, thanks to him. He senses her past pain but doesn't know how to comfort. Riko returns, and they enjoy the night. Seeing Yuki smile, he's captivated, perhaps falling for her. The show ends, and they head home. Riko's fulfilled, with cakes and sauce, banning Yuki from more tonight. Yuki obeys, leaving Hitoyoshi confused on who's in charge. Suddenly, a thief speeds by, endangering them. Yuki protects Riko, princess style, but her treats are ruined. Hitoyoshi's furious. Messing with Yuki's food is unforgivable. She switches to serious mode, chasing via shortcuts. As a veteran assassin, she catches up easily. He realizes if unchecked, the thief's done for. Riko's thrilled for the takedown, he's exasperated. They follow, fearing chaos. Yuki pops his tire, making him crash, then knocks him out as punishment. Hitoyoshi stops her from killing. Leave it to the police. Seeing her cheer, he suggests more cakes as a reward. They escort Riko home, her insisting she's fine but admitting the fun, planning to write about it. Yuki asks about school. She's never attended, envying Riko's stories of friends. Hearing it's great, she yearns for it. Riko's called home, and Yuki learns more about normal life from her. Hitoyoshi thinks school could help her make friends and be normal, so he considers enrolling her. Later, school's started. Classmates gossip about the beautiful maid in town. He's shocked. A friend saw her at the library, praising her serious cosplay. The teacher introduces a transfer student, Yuki, taking his last name, Yokoya, as his cousin. The class is in awe. She's seated in front of him. It's Riko's doing for a surprise. Her grades are stellar. Riko says she learned everything in 3 days and taught her back. He's glad she's happy. Asking how she got his name, she explains using underworld connections and Riko's idea it's easier as family. Despite the age gap, she wanted his class to stay close and serve. The secrecy was Riko's fun twist. The next day, during lunch, Yuki craves kuta cakes. He usually goes to the convenience store, but for her, he indulges. It's a school rarity, you must run fast. Her eyes light up like treasure hunting. He warns of the competition, wanting the black sandwich, but their classroom's farthest. Undeterred, she recalls her master's lesson. In the hunt, even mutual destruction is worth the catch. He should relax, she'll get it. She heads to the rooftop for a clear view. He tries to stop her, fearing exposure, but she's off, leaving him helpless. Her food-craving face reminds him of Riko with sweets. Girls will go to extremes for treats, a power he can't match. Applying it to Yuki, nothing stops her from claiming food. Has her normal life veered off course? Enter the Kuta guard. They're the fastest, always first for favorites. He worries she'll reveal herself, but winners have their paths. She jumps across roofs, reaching the cafeteria first with ease. Regaining her poise, she orders one of each. Sadly, limits apply, only one per type. She apologizes for failing his request, offering her prize, but he refuses it. He's tried it before. It's her victory. He doesn't want to take it. He almost scolds her wild school stunt, but her cute face stops him. She savors her treat, beaming with happiness, and shares a piece with him. He's shy, but alone he accepts. The cake's delicious, especially from her hand, leaving him wordless. That evening, Riko visits, planning to sleep over. He's not thrilled, earning her scolding. She teases he's been cozy with Yuki nightly and wants her as a sister, dreaming of girly talks. She even imagines him as a woman sometimes. Since Yuki's here, she plots their marriage perfect for both. Teasing him, she says Yuki loves him. He's skeptical. Yuki shows no signs, like when she fed him without blushing. This convinces Riko more. From now, count down to 18 for the wedding. She asks about gifts. He's overwhelmed, thinking their dad might agree, but mum's unsure. Yuki enters, and they discuss marriage. He's embarrassed. Riko excitedly asks if she likes him. She admits admiration, making his heart soar. Riko wants the treat. Yuki peels and sauces it. Asking about her routine, Riko notes her natural beauty. Yuki says it's just light makeup. Riko envies it, wanting to be stunning someday. Yuki prefers Riko's expressive face over her own dull one. Riko's touched. Few compliment her besides family, especially not her brother. She asks if she can be as beautiful. Yuki suggests salmon sauce for smooth skin. He watches them bond, thinking girls connect better. Perhaps Riko's key to Yuki's normal life. Riko tries the sourced fruit, loving it, and he realizes they're like sisters now. Riko teases him about Yuki, but he deflects. In Japan, he can marry at 18. She suggests Yuki take their name. Overwhelmed, he changes topics, but she's persistent. Asking if he'd like a beautiful wife, he agrees shyly. She sees it as their vow. The next day at school, he's distracted, daydreaming, and gets hit by chalk. Yuki splits it with her knife, shocking everyone, including the teacher. He heads to the infirmary, worried about her weapons. The nurse, Nita, is new and mysterious. She examines his eyes and flirts, asking if he's with the pretty girl. He says she's his cousin. She laughs and gets closer, but Yuki bursts in, sensing danger. Their eyes meet like rivals. He runs to her for protection. Nita claims it was a joke, comparing him to a hamster and herself to a cat. Yuki warns her off, and he thinks she's jealous. They leave warily. Yuki pulls him aside, apologizing for his eye, and revealing Nita's likely an assassin with unknown motives. In her room, Nita obsesses over eliminating Yuki, nicknamed Shu, for her dream life. She's money-driven, killing for a luxurious island escape. Now, Yuki's her ticket. At home, Yuki stays vigilant, watching him. He can't sleep with her gaze. She explains it's for his safety. Until Nita's threat is clear, she'll stay by his side. He asks for help sleeping. She offers to lie beside him. He's flustered, but she insists, saying even with one hand, she can react to attacks. We've become the best of siblings now. To live like ordinary folks, it's all thanks to Riko. Girls sticking together always works out better. Little sister spots Hitoshi like that and thinks he's dreaming of marrying Yuki. She's still clueless about it, so she asks. I play shy, asking to change the subject, but Riko won't have it, explaining that in Japan, at 18 years old, you can get married. By then, the Maid sister could take our family name. Seeing his sister being so bold, Hitoshi doesn't know how to stop her. Then she's asked if he'd love a beautiful wife, and of course it makes him blush deeply. Agreeing with his sister, Riko sees it as a pledge between them. The next day at school, his mind is stuck on last night's events, so he barely pays attention to the lecture. He ends up getting chalk thrown at his face. Yuki, sitting in front, slices it in half with a knife, doubling his sorrow. She's shocked, just trying to block the chalk, and the whole class is stunned, scaring the teacher witless. If he sues, it could mean jail time. Hitoshi later heads to the infirmary on his own. He's worried, but for the Maid sister, who's brought a weapon to school again. Stepping inside, surprisingly, Maruyama isn't there today. Instead, there's a new nurse named Nita. She asks what's wrong, and he explains 2 pieces of chalk hit his eyes straight on. She tells him to lie on the bed, making him feel a bit uneasy. His intuition senses this nurse is mysterious. Hitoshi is asked if he's the boyfriend of that beautiful girl, hinting at Yuki. She mentions seeing them together this morning, so she's curious. He says she's his cousin, and that excites her, making her laugh joyfully as she flirts, saying she likes his face. After the checkup, his eyes are fine, but Nita pins him down playfully, terrifying him. It turns out he's just bait for her, seeing his cute face. She tries to pull his pants, but suddenly, the stunning Yuki bursts in, sensing her master is in danger. Their intense gazes lock. She asks if Hitoshi is okay, and he runs crying to the maid for protection. Nita laughs it off, saying she's just joking and won't eat him. She compares him to a trembling hamster. As for herself, she's a playful kitten, teasing him, and asks Yuki if she agrees, but Yuki stays silent. Hitoshi, the most innocent of all, has no idea who she's dealing with. The maid pulls her master close, making him feel loved. She warns Nita to stay away, and he thinks she's jealous. With that, they quietly leave, on high alert. Yuki pulls her master aside to discuss something important. First, she apologizes to Hitoshi for hurting his eyes. He almost thinks it's a confession, but no, the maid reveals that woman is likely one of her kind of assassin, but her motives are unclear. In the room now, all the joyful images of Yuki from last night are recorded. Again. Nita assumes she's here on a mission, but instead she's playing house, so she wants to crush it all. Speaking of her, she's obsessed with money and dreams of being surrounded by great men, living luxuriously on the famous Santorini island. To achieve that, she gathers information and commits countless murders. Right now, she's found a prime target to fulfill her dream, eliminating the adorable maid, or rather, the top assassin known as Shue. Back home, Yuki stays awake, watching Hitoshi out of worry. Having a beauty like her pay attention makes it impossible for him to sleep. Not knowing when that suspicious person from school might appear, she must keep guard. More importantly, she thinks that if she looks away, Hitoshi could be torn apart any time. So, once she knows who that woman is, Yuki wants to stay by his side forever. He complains about not being able to sleep, asking if there's a better way. Well, how about I lie next to you? This embarrasses him deeply, but Yuki is thrilled. She even suggests letting him rest his head on her lap, but that might limit her movements if an enemy attacks. Hitoshi is delighted but worried for her. Hearing that, the maid is overjoyed and blushes. To reassure him, she says even if an enemy like that strikes, she can react with one hand. This shows how incredible her skills are, since she only had a small knife. With her at noon, she was cautious of the enemy, otherwise, she'd handle them easily. Yuki knows the opponent won't foolishly target her directly, so they'll go for the softer target, Hitoshi. The maid fears this might be revenge from the past, and she doesn't know how they tracked her. If that's the case and she drags him into it, she couldn't face staying here. So, she'll ensure no danger comes to the house. After all, fighting is her greatest strength. She tells Hitoshi to sleep peacefully. To her, he's not just someone who lets her stay, he brings warmth to her heart. Just as he was about to open the window for some air, Juki stops him, fearing a sniper from afar. Suddenly, she catches the scent of tomato sauce and grows curious. At this midnight hour, no one cooks, so it must be a trick from that foe. The moment they lower their guard, Grey snatches Hitoyoshi. What a sloppy move falling for such an obvious bait. Grey fights like a cat, moving with graceful stealth. She slips through silently. She calls her opponent the White Wolf of the Dragon's 9 offspring. As Juki moves to act, Grey threatens to kill Hitoyoshi. Rage boils in the maid sister, her glare alone making Grey shudder. She asks if Grey is ready to face pain worse than death for daring to touch him. Grey sees that the White Wolf's claws are still sharp and feels a wave of dread. This one knows with her skills, even living another 1,000 years, she couldn't face Juki head-on. So, she uses Hitoyoshi as leverage to find an opening and take her down. They set the meeting for 2 a.m. come to the school to rescue his heart. In truth, Juki could kill her any time, but since living with Hitoyoshi, she doesn't want that life anymore. She fears seeing death would sadden him and shatter his forgiveness. Her master's words echo in her mind, saying no matter what, Juki remains the ultimate assassin, death's shadow clings to her. Yet, this time, she wants to change, blaming herself for dragging him into danger. So, she resolves to eliminate this foe no matter what. At the same time, she'll erase all traces of her stay to prevent more incidents. But suddenly, his words shift her thoughts. Because only here does she feel loved, free to do as she pleases. Hitoyoshi says he doesn't want to be a part, so she changes her plans. As for Grey, she's all set to catch the dragon, but she's so nervous she's shaking and looks like a total weirdo. She thinks this suits a young guy, driving him crazy with frustration. What kind of captive doesn't fear their assassin? This guy's got hero blood from birth. Even with his life in someone else's hands, Grey threatens him, saying she could crush his heart any time. The root of this tragedy is his maid sister, blaming that woman for bringing bad luck to Hitoyoshi. She asks if he's angry or heartbroken, but his face just stays blank. If he says he's not scared, it's a lie, but he knows one thing, Juki will come to save him. So, all he can do now is trust in his maid sister. Hearing that, Grey is surprised, praising him for being braver than he looks. Maybe he's the secret child of some assassin, since he even tamed her. But she's not interested in him anyway. She just wants to strangle Juki with her own hands. That way she'll get the bounty and fame. He innocently asks if calling her her means his maid sister. Grey is the most shocked, realizing he lives with her but doesn't know her true identity. All he knows is that Juki is the ultimate maid assassin. To folks in the business like Grey, she's seen as a monster. The world is full of dangers, but she's special. She kills without mercy or hesitation. Calling Juki a destruction machine isn't wrong. As for her background, she's the 4th child in the dragon's 9 offspring, with fighting strength like a dragon, but her title is the White Wolf. The dragon's 9 offspring is the most dangerous assassin organization, with talents from everywhere. Legend has it, whenever society shifts, their hands are behind it, but with such power, they have endless enemies. In other words, taking her down would make Grey famous, boosting her jobs and rewards, turning her dreams into reality. Hearing this, Hitoyoshi looks at her with utter disappointment. Turns out assassins are like this. He adds that his Juki is well behaved, a bit clumsy at times, but adorable when she gets her favorite sauce. Grey has to admit that's true. At first, she thought it was the wrong person, so she watched them for 3 weeks before confirming. Now, she's certain Juki is the White Wolf of the dragon's 9 offspring. The best part was when they sat in the garden talking about marriage. That's when she almost shot them right there. It was that annoying. Knowing that, Hitoyoshi feels embarrassed, since that day was really fun. Now, Grey realizes he's different, who talks so calmly about life and death, even chatting nonsense with her. She thinks his history isn't just that of a timid guy. Plus, he has a way of melting hearts. No wonder she fell for him so hard. This gives Grey an edge, because the more you love, the weaker you get. In this eat-or-be-eaten world, no one plays by the rules. They use every trick to win. Right on time, Juki arrives and starts the rescue. The opponent fires straight at her, but she slices the bullet in half. That's straight out of a movie, yet she pulls it off. Grey activates traps, causing an explosion at Juki's feet. She's thrilled, thinking she's crippled two of the White Wolf's limbs, but before she can celebrate, she's struck. Luckily, she blocks it. Hitoyoshi worries for his maid sister, as the foe fights dirty. She tells her young master to stay calm. Everything will be fine. Hearing that, the black cat fumes, pissed that they're chatting mid-fight, like she doesn't even matter. She taunts Juki, saying hiding her identity must be from guilt. As the youngest dragon child in history, how many lives were lost for that title? If her identity's exposed, enemies will swarm from everywhere. This family game with him is over. Juki stays composed, wanting to finish quick, so Hitoyoshi can rest and go to school tomorrow. The black cat is furious, feeling disrespected. Juki daydreams of a happy family life. Gray resorts to threats, endangering him again. She activates a heavy sniper from afar, aiming at Hitoyoshi's limbs, ordering Juki not to move. But before she finishes, Juki charges with blinding speed. It's totally unexpected. Though startled, Gray activates the sniper, thinking Juki doesn't care about his life. But no, Juki is confident in her skills, able to block the bullet before it touches him. In a panic, the opponent tries another move, but her phone is destroyed. The winner is clear, making her realize this is the fourth in the dragon's 9 offspring, truly no ordinary foe. She stubbornly targets Hitoyoshi, only to be sent flying, nearly to her death. Luckily, Juki spares her, ignoring her harsh words. Gray knows escaping the shadow of an assassin is impossible, and no matter what, Juki is still her. Surely, more like her will come, targeting Juki for fame. She asks if she'll kill them all. The maid sister admits she's that kind of person, once thinking killing was her only way. But now it's different. She won't kill anyone, and won't let anyone die because of her. From now on, no matter what happens, she wants to decide for herself, protecting the normal life he gave her. This is nothing like what Gray heard about Hera's supreme assassin hunting prey to the edge of the world, even into hell. Gray realizes if Juki wanted to kill, she'd have done it long ago. Hitoyoshi is saved and overjoyed. Rescued by the beauty, Gray escapes death and finds them fascinating. On the way back, he acts like everything's fine, saying he trusted his maid sister's abilities. Juki feels sad for involving her young master so deeply and apologizes profusely. She says if he wants, she'll vanish like it never happened. Hearing that, he grabs her hand, wanting to learn self-defense next time, and pulls her close, touching her heart. A few days later, Juki blends into school life. She's the center of attention, the girls adore her, and the boys are mesmerized by her mature charm. Hitoyoshi sits alone, marveling that if his maid sister gets serious, everyone's eyes would pop. She's not just beautiful and smart, but also great at sports. No one believes she's his cousin since he's so ordinary. He recalls the kidnapping, still getting chills. Most shocking, his maid sister is called the White Wolf, a killing machine fed by rice, and the fourth in the dragon's 9 offspring. Thankfully, Juki vows to keep her hands clean from now on. Since she doesn't want more blood, he's a bit relieved. She's still striving to be as normal as possible. Wait, what? Suddenly, she glances at Hitoyoshi and smiles, making his friends jealous. Then, a ball flies toward him, but Gray blocks it. After pretending to be a nurse last time, she's now disguised as the gym teacher to get close, though her intentions aren't bad this time. But she still causes trouble for him. Having one maid girl is enough. Now there's this one claiming to be his relative, it's a nightmare. She gets overly familiar with her student. He has to ask her to keep a proper distance as a teacher. That morning, the couple ran into their previous opponent at school. At first, they thought she hadn't given up on assassinating his maid sister, but it's the opposite. Hitoyoshi doesn't recognize her as the cat assassin who kidnapped him, thanks to Gray's masterful disguise. This is her true self. She says from now on, she'll be the gym teacher and pose as his cousin, just arriving in Tokyo. She boasts her specialty is gathering info, while Juki only knows knives. If they team up, it could be fun. She loves this kind of thing. After seeing how Hitoyoshi tamed the White Wolf, she's in awe. How could a legendary assassin listen to some random guy and declare she won't kill anymore? Gray promises to stop hunting her, since she can't win. So, a deal between assassins is made. She won't touch the couple and will supply their favorite kuta sauce for 3 months. What a ridiculous deal. Surprisingly, his maid sister agrees. Hitoyoshi asks if it's okay. Then he sees her drooling, so he gets why she took the deal. In the assassin world, no one's stupid enough to make empty promises. After realizing she can't beat her, Gray knows harming Hitoyoshi is pointless. Even if something happens, she'll come save him like before. Juki bluntly says with that one strength, even 1,000 more wouldn't matter. Gray is treated like small fry and gets annoyed, but she's right, so what can she do? From now on, she'll quietly observe them to satisfy her curiosity. That's why the beautiful teacher is draping her arm around Hitoyoshi like that. He doesn't like PE, but in school, only that position and nurse allow slacking, so she chose to teach his class for easy watching. He's confused, thinking she said she'd observe secretly, yet she's chatting with him and making his friends notice. She even teases Juki to make her jealous. Seeing her master played with, she smashes the ball into the wall as a warning. The whole class freezes. The teacher knows better and stays away from Hitoyoshi. Luckily, the girls are naive and excited, praising how she hit the ball through the net. Even if his maid sister joins the club, it makes Gray laugh. In class, there's a lazy student who notices her shoelace is loose and thinks to remind her, but with assassin senses, she ties it herself. Lunchtime? His maid sister feels ashamed for showing a bit of her strength earlier. Hitoyoshi defends her, saying it's not her fault that one keeps teasing him. He asks how she feels but isn't sure. Though he knows Gray isn't an enemy anymore, seeing her close to him makes her want to strike. Her mind goes fuzzy, not wanting anyone from the shadows near Hitoyoshi. He realizes it's jealousy, so he assures her it's a normal human emotion, and she shouldn't worry. Hearing that, the supermaid glows with joy, making his heart ache at how adorable she is. The next day, they spend time together outside school. The White Wolf returns as the charming maid, handling household chores for him. It's second nature now, so he doesn't need to worry. Since she used to do everything by hand, seeing the washing machine clean clothes perfectly delights her. With this, life is so much easier, and everything's fresh and soft. She excitedly shows her sleepy master, waking him up completely. Remembering a month ago, when she was clueless and messed up, like pouring dish soap into the machine and creating bubbles everywhere. But after countless failures, the supermaid has mastered laundry, making him secretly proud. He praises it as a huge step for her, lighting up her eyes. The plump lips look happy too, but really it's just begging for food, oblivious as ever. After feeding the piglet, Hitoyoshi plans dinner. The fridge only has cabbage left. He asks Juki what she'd like with it. Instantly, she thinks of chopping cabbage and pairing it with shrimp and kuta sauce, as always. He's always indulgent, so he takes her hand to the shop. He's a regular, so the owners adore him. He asks the lady to pack some shrimp. Though they're old and frail, you can see their passion for the craft. They ask about the beautiful stranger, since she looks unfamiliar. Juki is in heaven, thrilled because this is where the divine kuta sauce is made. Seeing her like this, Hitoyoshi recalls his own excitement over favorites. His heart soars, and of course, that's normal for anyone. Now Mr. Kuta is slicing meat with shaky hands from age. That's a knife user's fatal flaw. Yet, miraculously, each cut is precise and professional. At that age, cutting so accurately, Juki thinks he's no ordinary elder, likely a retired legendary assassin. Hearing that, he's speechless, thinking his maid sister's imagining things. He mentions to the lady that his companion loves her sauce. She's delighted, and Juki sees her as a goddess for creating such magic. He compliments their fried dishes, always aromatic, crispy, and flawless. The maid sister is most grateful, as she's never known flavors before. She used to see food as fuel, not something to savor. But since tasting that divine sauce, her senses awakened, transforming her inner world. For her, kuta sauce is everything. Each taste warms her heart like a gentle embrace. In short, it's pure bliss beyond words. The old lady is happy for this sweet girl. She explains it's because Juki's heart was already warm, so she appreciates the sauce's deliciousness. This echoes the warmth Hitoyoshi brought from their first meal together, enhancing every flavor. In the rush of emotions, she suddenly gets patted on the shoulder by the owner, startling her. For a top assassin, that's impossible, so she doubles down that Mr. Kuta is a legend. Seizing the moment, the couple is invited to try a new sauce recipe. Hearing that, his maid sister turns into an obedient pup. Taking a slow taste, from the first touch, she declares it's incredibly delicious. That evening, the couple enjoys a joyful meal. He goes to rest first, leaving the dishes to her. He lies on the couch, reflecting on how unbelievable it is that this adorable maid was once an assassin. He wants to ask about her organization, but fears it might upset her. If she doesn't want to share, so be it. Suddenly, he remembers his mother's image when she left home. Back then, Rico went with her, while he had to stay with his father. Though they parted, she said he could visit any time. Even so, the separation broke his heart. Suddenly, waking from his dream, he finds himself hugging Juki. She's worried because he was crying in his sleep. He's not fully awake yet, but touching something soft on her chest makes him jump back. In a surge of emotion, she's suddenly tapped on the shoulder by the boss, startling her. This is almost impossible for a top assassin, so she's even more convinced Mr. Kuta is a legend. On that note, the couple invites Yuki to try their new sauce recipe. Hearing that, the maid turns into an obedient puppy. Taking a slow taste, from the first touch of her lips, she finds it incredibly delicious. That evening, the couple enjoys a joyful meal. Hitoshi is sent to rest first, leaving the dishes for her. He lies on the chair, reflecting on how unbelievable it is that his adorable maid was once an assassin. He wants to ask about her organization, but fears it might trouble her. If she doesn't want to share, he'll let it be. Suddenly, he remembers the image of his mother leaving home. That year, Rico went with her, while he had to stay with his father. Though they parted, she said her son could visit any time. Even knowing that, the separation made him so sad. Suddenly, after waking up, he finds himself hugging Yuki. She's worried because he was crying in his dream. He's not fully awake yet, but when he touches something soft on her chest, he jumps back. He apologizes to the maid, saying, "It was just a strange dream." Yuki still wants to help him sleep well, offering her lap like before. She accidentally sees him researching Longshengju online and asks. He says he wants to know more about her but is too shy to say. She replies. She doesn't know much about the organization. Back then, her master pointed and she struck, never caring about the group. Of course, she met other members a few times but didn't even know their names. So, it's not that the maid won't tell, there's nothing to tell. Besides, things were different back then. She only focused on survival, ignoring everything else, even herself. Her biggest worry was failing missions and disappointing her master. That would cost her place, and that made it hard for her to get used to the human world now. Things like birds singing or the morning sunlight feel so unfamiliar, like she's still dreaming. The maid hopes one day she can truly adapt. If that happens, she could become an ordinary person, just as Hitoshi wishes. Thinking about it, Yuki feels joyful, and Hitoshi does too, saying waking up each morning to see her brings him peace. He thanks her for choosing this home, despite all the events. Sharing his feelings, he realizes it sounds like a confession, so he feels embarrassed. The super maid explains why she wants him to rest on her lap. It makes her feel useful to Hitoshi. From now on, if he has nightmares, he can sleep on her lap. Hearing that, he feels truly at peace, as Yuki has taken his mother's place. A few days later, the maid goes shopping alone and notices people staring. Because of her cute face and outfit straight from a movie, a little girl runs up to chat, saying she's noticed her. Asking around, the girl loves this maid outfit and wants to be just like her. Hearing that, Yuki is delighted to have an admirer. The girl asks where she bought it, since normal people don't wear such things. That hits the maid's desire to be ordinary, making her thoughtful. Seizing the moment, Hitoshi is nearby and comes to welcome his future wife home. She asks if the maid outfit is really not normal, something she's never realized. The next day, he dedicates the whole day to buying new clothes for her. Surprisingly, little Rico and Gray are there too. His sister decided to join after hearing about the shopping via message. The confusing part is why she's with them. It turns out Gray overheard their conversation at home and is eager to tag along and observe. Hitoshi forbids eavesdropping, but she's still hidden a listening device in the house. The maid apologizes, thinking she destroyed them all, but one was left in the living room. She excuses it as needing help to pick clothes for her daughter. Hitoshi might not handle it. He sees this group as unstable, but since they're here, he'll let them join. Rico is surprised to learn the beautiful sister is an assassin. Seeing how adorable his sister is, Gray hugs her and bonds instantly. She finds the girl fascinating and cute, just like her brother, so she's thrilled. It's odd that in this house no one fears assassins. They all head to the store Rico recommended. Thinking it's for normal clothes, she leads them straight to a maid outfit shop. Some look pretty, but not as fitting as the old one. Hitoshi is at a loss, unable to stop his sister's tastes. Yuki complains that this one doesn't move as flexibly. In return, it's very cute, so Rico decides to buy it for Gray. Caught up in the fun, she suggests checking other areas for eye-catching items. Hitoshi thinks going out like that would cause chaos, so he vetoes it. Yuki agrees, as she can't hide many knives. He wonders why she still carries weapons now that she's left assassinations. She smiles, saying it just makes her feel safe. So, he drops it. He reminds the two not to cause trouble. Next, they move to a fashion store to try on clothes. The maid's perfect figure makes everything look stunning, especially the swimsuit, showing off her curves and making Gray uncomfortable. Rico compares her to a model, asking Hitoshi what he likes. He thinks a white dress suits her, subtle yet elegant. Hearing that, she gets jealous, as he answered so quickly, probably thought about it before. After struggling all afternoon, they finally settle on a few outfits. Instead of picking, Hitoshi decides to take everything she tried for speed. Their family is wealthy, so shopping like this is no big deal. On the way, he lets the girls have fun, as Halloween is coming. Riko's excited, wanting to buy outfits for her brother. For the event, Hitoshi is surprised, asking if they're doing it this year. She says their mother always looked forward to it, so they all pick costumes for Halloween. Seeing the little miss so happy, the maid joins in the joy. Hitoshi spots a horror movie playing and suggests watching it, as he loves that genre. For the maid, she's never watched films. Theaters were her workplaces, so she left right away. That sounds scary, so Hitoshi acts tough, saying it's normal. Later, the four go, and three enjoy it while one falls asleep. Watching the zombies eat, Yuki suddenly looks terrified, just like other girls. From there, they discover she's deathly afraid of zombies, puzzling Riko. Given her skills, she could handle them easily. She explains she's terrified of the rotting stench from corpses. Secondly, since they're dead but walking, she's scared they won't die, even if killed. Hitoshi sees her as naive, but it's understandable. In her world, once someone dies, they stay dead. He reassures her that such horrors don't exist, so not to worry. Gray finds it hilarious that a top assassin fears zombie-sits bizarre. On the way home, Hitoshi buys cake for the kids, delighting Riko. She lets the maid try it, and it's truly delicious. Gray copies, offering to feed him, but he refuses. Their intimate outing catches a classmate's admiration. Yuki spots a big guy reminding Naka about over-relaxing. He warns the Hika family members not to act like that. They seem to be assassins too, so she's always told to stay alert. They're on their way to training, so they set aside their pleasures. Naka is grateful to Tsu for the time. The four don't know they're being watched, and plan to hang out another day. Gray adores the little sister, so she agrees any time. She bids farewell since her house is in a different direction. Hitoshi takes his sister to their mothers, leaving Yuki to prepare dinner. Suddenly she feels someone watching. Glancing in the mirror, she looks sad, still not believing her current life. On the way home, she recalls her old maid outfit and her former master's image. He gave it to Yuki back then, so she wore it. Now, to chase her dreams, she must let it go, feeling a bit sad. With that, she returns, lost in memories. Later at home, for some reason, she chooses the old outfit. Outside, rain is coming, so she prepares everything, fearing Hitoshi will get wet. Little Mochi is as playful as ever, demanding attention when someone is around. Since the couple was out early, the dog was alone and got rowdy. That bone is soaked in slobber, and Hitoshi isn't home yet. Yuki hesitates about washing it, but finally decides to clean the toy for Mochi, as it's too dirty and could cause illness. Hearing that, the dog understands and takes the towel elsewhere, not letting her wash it. Outside, thunder strikes, worrying Hitoshi for the maid. The house loses power, and the outside sounds remind her of the movie scenes. Mochi tries to hide the precious towel but gets it stuck on the wall. It breaks, and he knocks over a pot of water, making a strange noise that startles Yuki. Truly the White Wolf Yuki, but she's human, so she hesitates to open the door, fearing zombies will attack. After a while, worried about the dog being eaten, she gathers courage, grabs a knife, and goes to save it. Unexpectedly, the dog drags the wet rag out, scaring her witless. When Hitoshi returns, he sees the dog's towel shredded, making it sad. The maid explains everything to him. In short, he guessed something like this would happen, so he's not surprised. Yuki comforts Mochi and promises to fix it. Hitoshi sees it's so torn that sewing might be tough, but she's determined, knowing it's precious to the dog. Besides that, he asks why she's wearing the maid outfit, thinking she didn't like the new ones, but getting to shop and pick clothes with everyone today was pure happiness. It's just that she can't let go of this gift. Yuki shares how she once served her old master as both an assassin and a maid. This outfit is a precious gift from that master. Though he's passed, she respects him deeply, and it's the only thing connecting them before his end. He supported her leaving killing to live normally. Back then, Yuki didn't fully understand, so she served as an assassin until the end. Only meeting Hitoshi made it clear. So, she cherishes him more, and wears this maid outfit to always remember. That's why she can stay here. Even if it's not normal, she wants to wear it until it's worn out. Asking Hitoshi if that's too strange. He thinks it's perfectly normal. The maid still finds it odd that an assassin like her fears zombies. He realizes she's bothered by Gray's words and affirms it's not strange at all. Wearing what you like when you want is just like being ordinary. Even fearing something that doesn't exist, everyone has their fears, so it's not abnormal. He teaches her about emotions, helping her see her dream of normalcy can be her way, not rigidly. Hearing that, Yuki is overjoyed, and even Mochi supports her. Knowing food is coming, the dog forgets the towel and runs around wildly. Hitoshi realizes the ragged blanket was with the dog when it was left alone. Perhaps from puppyhood, it's a reminder of its parents, so it won't let anyone wash it. Hearing that, Yuki wants to restore it before dinner, saying she now understands Mochi's feelings. Because she doesn't want to lose her maid outfit either. The bell on her head connects to her separated sister. Hearing that, Hitoshi is surprised she has a sister like him. The next day, they tell Gray to help find the maid's lost sister. Thinking she might know, he invites Andram Man, but she's clever, saying she knows nothing. The only clue is the bell and the name Hua, so who can find it? Gray loves noodles, so she makes an excuse to get Hitoshi to treat her and save money. In a flash, she finishes the special bowl while the two are just starting. She comments on the pure flavor here, unmatched, and wants Yuki to taste the broth like her. Then she pours her favorite sauce all over the ramen before eating, looking innocently happy, annoying the cat assassin. Ramen should savor the broth fully. After eating, they go for more, but the owner says students have bought so much lately that it's out. Hearing that, the maid is shocked. Hitoshi realizes the Kuta festival is coming, explaining the rush. The owner apologizes, saying even with orders, it takes a week. At that, Yuki's spirits plunge. She still thanks the owner for the amazing sauce. With the remaining supply, it's not enough for a week. Still, she thinks to cherish it until the end. Hitoshi distracts her, asking what she'd say if she met her sister. Yuki says her past memories are fuzzy, barely remembering her sister's face, and her parents' images have faded. By the time she realized, she was a lonely assassin. The only connection is this bell, a gift from their mother. She believes one day she'll find family through it. Sadly, for 10 years, she's found no clues. Plus, she's afraid to face her sister, thinking she's hated. Now, she just hopes her only family is happy. Hitoshi thinks of ways to cheer the maid up. It seems their story was overheard by his classmates, who approach. They say Yuki's sister must be beautiful, since she looks like a supermodel. Taiga and Kobachi are close friends with Hitoshi and mention winning a signed music disc, very valuable. They know singer Nasuka is at the Kuta festival. More importantly, they see how close the couple is, with Hitoshi surrounded by girls, making them jealous. Still, Taiga is happy for him, as since family arrived, his face has brightened. Remembering middle school, he was always stressed. Kobachi recalls events like his rebellion against his father and teenage syndrome. Hearing them roast him, Hitoshi tries to stop the maid from hearing, but they example how he wore a winter coat in summer, the only one in school. Hearing that, Yuki feels happy, as she's changing him. The most noticeable is the house being spotless since living together. Back in middle school, it was a mess. Hitoshi covers Taiga's mouth, but drops the important disc into the drain. Yuki reacts quickly, throwing her bag to catch it, but the priceless item flies out. In the end, the last sauce is gone, shocking her so much she dreams of heartbreak that night. The next day, Hitoshi checks on the maid and sees her just waking up, her face terribly pale. She says she dreamed the Kuta bottle hated her. He's at a loss, but she even imagines a sauce friend in her dream-pure fantasy. He advises enduring until next week since it's ordered. Of course Yuki understands, but without it, she'll lose sleep. And it's true. The next 2 nights the maid has nightmares. To the point she sneaks to her master's room to ask to sleep together. She describes the scary dreams. Hitoshi is awkward, as he's cramming for tomorrow's test, but he still chats with her while studying. There, she says he's someone who cares about everything around him. Praised like that, he's pleased and asks if he's ever hated anyone. He thinks no one's been bad enough for such strong words. If any, it's his father who split the family. Though not fully hating, their relationship is distant, hard to understand. Hearing that, Yuki suddenly remembers her sister saying hurtful words of hate. So, she insists on leaving, saying she's disturbing his study. He worries she won't sleep. Later, the maid dreams of the sauce scolding her for abandoning it and her sister, accusing her of only knowing killing, so she's hated. The Kuta points out she's bothering Hitoshi's family. He doesn't need her care, he has Riko. Remembering, as a child, Yuki was a prodigy, speaking 15 languages by 7, thanks to her parents being interpreters. Though famous, all she cared about was her parents' smiles. She thought that happiness would last, but at 8, a big tragedy changed everything. They were celebrating her birthday when strangers came. Opening the door, her parents were killed. Their target was kidnapping the prodigy like her, so Yuki blames herself, even involving her sister. After crying herself dry, her assassin blood awakened. From then, she became the youngest hunter. Her sister couldn't accept it and left. From killing for survival, the maid turned professional assassin, and met her master, who guided her later. Hitoshi, worried for the maid, rushes to check. He finds her screaming, asking if she's okay. She collapses into his arms. After recalling the past, her emotions are overwhelming. So, she pulls him to the bed for a hug. Though knowing she's bothering him, she begs to stay a while. He's never seen her hands shake like this, so he asks if it's a nightmare. She says it's not just a dream, it's real, and she's remembered the past. Understanding, he comforts her, saying patting a baby's back like a mother stops the tears. The feeling is like a heartbeat, bringing peace. That's what he learned from his mother. Yuki feels his heart and relaxes, falling asleep. The next morning at school, Taiga is surprised the friend knows nothing about the Kuta festival. She guesses it's just a event. That's right, but it's much bigger. It includes sports, music, and culture. Classes register and compete for the top spot. One prize for the winning class is the Divine Kuta Sauce VIP version, made with a special recipe. Hearing that, Yuki's mouth waters, as she's desperately short on Kuta. Kobachi thinks first years will struggle to win against seniors with experience. Normally, the student council wins every year, but the hardest part is maintaining class scores. Hearing that, she boasts her recent test score avoided failing without studying 42 points. But seeing her cheerful face, he praises her, though it hurts. They say test scores affect the festival evaluation. A class's total points add average student scores. So, the smarter the class, the more points, easier to win. Realizing, Yuki sees she's dragging them down and doesn't know what to do. Tiger thinks if scores are low, they must excel in activities. Hearing that, she gets motivated. The best part is lunchtime, as the friend brings her favorite snack. Gray usually takes 2, but it's scarce now, so only 1. She demands gratitude, saying without this, the maid might not survive the week. Yuki thanks her, giving chills. Who knew a bottom-tier assassin like her would be valued by White Wolf Shu? She thinks they've forgotten the kidnapping. Gray shoos them away, saying she's busy grading tests. Then, Yuki wants to know what it takes for their class to win. She feels as an assassin it's easy, so stay confident. The friend says the maid can't join the festival. The reason is she didn't write her name on the PE test. As the teacher, Gray must void the score per rules, shocking Yuki. Earlier, she glanced and saw it blank, thinking it'd be fixed later. But not scoring it means average won't cut it, even with practicals. But it's too late now. Gray suggests letting her write it. Yuki withdraws her thanks, thinking the teacher was kind, but she's petty. Gray's demand. If she doesn't want to be out, next time Andram Man bans Yuki from adding kuta sauce to change flavors. Hearing that, Hitoshi is baffled why she cares. White Wolf Shui refuses the deal, says there's no other way, and vanishes to sign mysteriously. Gray doesn't get it, demanding an explanation. Yuki says she didn't do it, and he backs her, claiming the teacher imagined it since it was signed before. Seeing his smooth talk, Gray gives up for now. Hitoshi is shocked at how the maid signed so fast. Actually, she didn't. Another friend helped. Naka finishes and hides, but the friend spots her. She thanks her for the help, making her shy. She also mentions having a plan to help her admired one win. A bit about Na. From birth she had to train seriously in ninjutsu. Her ability is speed, but it's never satisfied her brother. Su is always strict, reminding her of their proud family name. It's them. They're descendants of top ninjutsu users from 300 years ago, so they must self-control and discipline in training. Reminded like that, Na is sad, thinking she's disappointed her brother. But that's not true. He's an ultimate sister-obsessed guy. He acts tough on the outside, but inside, he always praises her cuteness. But too shy, Su hides it with a scary face. The Oiso High School Kuta Festival is on, with class competitions today. Today, it's cops and robbers at 2 p.m. Now's playtime for everyone. In the student council, his teammates wonder if leaving Tsu alone as cop is okay, while all students are robbers. Most importantly, there's Naka and Yuki. Of course, they don't know her assassin identity, just see her as strong. Since they don't realize why the maid enrolled, the sister-obsessed guy fears she's plotting against the Hika family. Most of all, she's in the same class as Naka. The two warn to be extra vigilant today. Then Tsu goes to check, saying it's patrol, but really, he's watching his sister look cute. Turns out, their class theme is animal costumes. Customers wear animal hats and have tea in a fun atmosphere. Naka says her brother doesn't value her. Hitoshi is surprised the president is like that. She explains he values strength and perfection. She's too weak, so she can't make him happy, that's why. In this event, Naka wants to win and prove her efforts to Tsu by beating him with Yuki's help, so the adorable maid can claim the prize. Hitoshi sees her staring at the maid shyly, wondering if they'll cooperate. Thanks to her, they know the game details to prepare. The key to cops and robbers is physicality and agility. Each class picks 3 players, so Tiger joins as the strongest after the 2 girls. He's turning into a kuta sauce bottle, making Yuki crave it. He's confident his strength will outmatch the president. Saying that, he realizes Naka rarely shows in PE because she's afraid of drawing attention with her high speed, but compared to her brother, she's far behind. To ease worries, the maid shows her winning spirit, saying she'll use all her power not to waste this chance, hoping Naka will team up and take down the president. Hearing that, she's thrilled, liking her friend more. She motivates herself not to give up, or she won't beat her brother. That accidentally lets Tsu hear. So, he misunderstands Yuki as enchanting his sister to break family ties. The maid's motive is clear, to destroy the Hika family from within. At mealtime, he asks his spacey friend if he's fighting in that grumpy outfit. He says winning in it is more meaningful. The game will be on television, so it needs impact. Hearing that, Hitoshi groans, as exposing the maid's strength would be troublesome. Now, the adorable sister is here to cheer for her sister-in-law. Kobachi brought Riko. Sadly, their cafe is run by others today, so she won't get Yuki's service. Since the three need to prepare for the competition, Kobachi will watch the little sister. Seeing them so close, Naka feels jealous, as she has no friends. Asking the maid if she has any, surprising her since she really doesn't. The two loners connect and invite each other as close friends. The maid agrees, liking Naka's personality. Hearing that, she's suddenly happier and gets invited to hang out. But too shy, she declines, saying she needs to learn the rules. Hitoshi sees them joyful and asks what they're discussing. Surprisingly, the maid says, "What's a friendship like?" Leaving him speechless. No wonder, as she's never had friends since childhood. Meanwhile, Na was thrilled, thinking that even if Yuki knew her true identity, they could still get along as equals. To take control in the game, she wanted to visit the festival committee for information. With her abilities, Naka could hear sounds from far away, so she learned this year's rules. Soon after, the school's main event officially began. They even invited a special guest to observe. This person was actually Grey in disguise, not a stranger. The students were excited, cheering wildly at her beauty. This year's rules were a bit different. Only Tsu was on the police side, while the thieves could have as many as they wanted, as he was confident in his skills. Within the limited time, he had to catch all the thieves to win. If he succeeded, they won. Otherwise, if even one thief escaped, the robbers won. Plus, the robbers could rescue teammates by touching those caught, giving them an edge. So, Grey added a rule that they must wear costumes to limit movement. After hearing this, Naka apologized to Juki, saying if she'd known earlier, she could have found a way to counter it. The maid sister remained confident, thinking the outfit was fine as it could hide her face from cameras. Besides, men had explained what friendship means. In tough times, they should support each other. Right after, the game started with a 15-minute limit. All along, Tsu couldn't take his eyes off his adorable sister. Naka saw her brother looking troubled and turned away. This made him think Juki had hypnotized his sister. In reality, Naka feared that seeing her brother would freeze her in place, as she cared for him deeply. Everyone saw the disadvantage for the president. However, Hitoyoshi felt uneasy. As student council members, the two friends stepped up to support Tsu and prevent injuries. That way, he could go all out without worries. Immediately, Tsu dashed at incredible speed toward the robbers. Before they could run, he threw them into the goal. This storm of attacks worried the siblings like a raging bulldozer. In a flash, most robbers were caught, leaving only 3 from their class. Taiga faced him head-on instead of fleeing. He felt like the girl was cheering him on, so he felt proud. But Tsu tossed him aside like a rag. He blamed Dewey for tricking his sister. Naka tried to call her friend to separate, but thought it was too late, so she confronted him directly. He respected the assassin's grip strength. Yet, he had the advantage with the bulky outfit. Seeing her friend in danger, the sister activated her power to create smoke, blocking vision and saving Juki, but got caught herself. Recalling Hitoyoshi's words about friendship, the supermaid thought she had to save Naka no matter what. Once, Tiga, Sibachi, and Men were seen as the class fools. Many times he had given up, but those two never abandoned him. They changed his dull middle school life. Hitoyoshi hoped that one day, if they faced troubles, he'd stand by them. That's true friendship. Just now, the maid sister was saved. Taiga followed his master's lead, not abandoning his friend. Tsu grew more furious as his sister used herself to save the enemy. 10 minutes passed, but he stayed still, confusing everyone. It was because he was in shock. Wondering how to get back at Juki, Hitoyoshi realized the president was affected by throwing his sister. The sister thought if she held on for 2 more minutes, she'd win a special prize. The question was how to hide the assassin's real abilities from the cameras. Suddenly, she smelled Kuta's scent from Tsu, thinking it was a heavenly test. The two supporting the police were shocked that Juki matched their president. Naka praised her friend as very strong and cheered. Hearing that, the brother-obsessed Tsu felt a sharp pain in his heart. They clashed fiercely, astonishing the audience. He shouted he didn't know her schemes, but she couldn't break their blood bond. Mid-fight, the maid sister suddenly felt hungry, wondering what her master would cook tonight. The opponent kept attacking verbally, saying she didn't understand friendship and used it to approach his sister. It seemed Naka had endured some terrible suffering since childhood, so Tsu never let her play with anyone, fearing despair. Tired of his endless talk, she spun and threw him down, shocking everyone. She could have won by keeping distance, but Juki chose to save her friend. She explained that earlier, she answered casually because she didn't understand the word, but now she did a bit more and hoped their friendship would last. She asked if Naka accepted. Then Tsu approached, protecting the other but losing for the robbers. In jail, the maid sister stood there, and little Riko was baffled, saying Juki didn't get the rules. The result was clear. They couldn't claim the special prize. But at least, their bond grew stronger. From the shock, the maid sister now couldn't move. Reporters rushed for an interview, but Naka quickly pushed Taiga in as a substitute to take her friend away. Later, she apologized for causing their side to lose. Juki didn't blame her, saying she only thought of saving Naka. She wanted her friend to like her and promised from now on they'd share joys and sorrows to solve together. Hearing that, she looked happy. Just then, Sue called his sister home, acknowledging Juki's skills but still seeing her as an enemy, though she was innocent. Overall, the festival was fun and satisfying for all. That evening, instead of music, the pair sat and shared about the day. It was their first cultural festival, so he hoped next year the maid sister would win. Hearing that, she was shocked, as she'd never thought of the long term, being an assassin who could die any time, so she only thought of tomorrow. Juki felt like she was in a dream, with a bright future ahead. A few days later, Naka was invited by men to play at home. She performed dart throwing for her two friends, thrilling them. Apparently, besides family, she'd never done this in front of others, so she was a bit shy. Hitoyoshi thought it felt familiar. He praised Naka as an amazing ninja, and she affirmed her brother was even more fearsome. Sometimes, she wished she didn't have these powers to live normally. Juki understood that feeling, saying she wanted it too, always thinking ordinary thoughts. In the end, what is it? She hoped to discuss it with Naka, as they were in the same class. Hearing that, she was delighted, as it would make their bond tighter. Seeing them laugh together, Hitoyoshi was glad. Just then, Gray arrived, teasing men about having so many girls around, like building his own harem. Go ahead and choose, making him embarrassed. I have no bad intentions. Hitoyoshi wondered why Gray wasn't at the cultural festival but appeared now. She said beauty always comes with mystery. Asking if he liked that type, she even offered to let men touch her. But the maid sister stopped her, scaring her. She claimed it was an accident, making Gray furious, thinking she was out to kill her, reminding Juki she wanted to be normal, and she's asking her friend to find info on her sister. Remembering that once is enough, it's over for this life, no more help. Hitoyoshi had no opinion, as he's used to it. Naka, knowing the teacher is like her and Juki, also asked and introduced. But Gray knew it all, calling the sister the youngest of the HC house. Plus, she guessed it was her who signed Dewey's test. The reason Gray came today is to announce she'll go to China for some matters. If she meets Shrey's old acquaintances, she might find her sister. Going to the Longshengju Z organization is risky. Juki repeated that besides her master, she knew no one there. Overall, she won't be with everyone for Christmas, so it's a pity. So, she suggested the maid sister spend 6 hours with Hitoyoshi in affection. Naka was shocked, and the sister didn't understand. The friend asked if the pair was dating, surprising men. This was her first time talking about love, so she hoped for forgiveness if anything was off. They felt a bit awkward about it. Because in class, Juki introduced herself as his sister, and Naka thought they looked perfect together, so she wondered if they could love each other. Hitoyoshi tried to explain there's nothing between them, but looking at her face made it like this. She looked sad, like being rejected, so she pretended to recall something. Before, she'd never been cared for like this. The maid sister thought caring for her master was enough. But now it's different, as there's more than one person to protect. She felt very happy, reassuring Hitoyoshi. Snow started falling, making Yuki look more beautiful than ever. Suddenly a message from her father said he'd return to Japan for the new year, making the sun a bit sad. The next morning, everywhere was covered in white. Our little Mochi saw the snow, and joyfully ran out to play. As expected, he was excited, even digging a hole to bury himself. Seeing the fun, Hitoyoshi wanted to join, making a tiny snowman. He said this area has lasting snow, so he often did this as a kid. Hearing that, the maid sister tried but wasn't very skilled. He complimented her, saying it suited her, as she always wanted to be rounder. Hearing that, she was overjoyed, like being confessed to. Suddenly, the silly dog charged in, ruining Yuki's snowman. So, her mood dropped, as it took forever to shape it. Lately, Mochi has been naughty, probably from eating well and sleeping a lot. Suddenly, a phone call came, so Hitoyoshi answered. His tone wasn't cheerful. He said, "I'll tell Mom and Rico." Seeing him like that, the maid sister was worried, not knowing what to do. Not knowing what to do, he asked the sister to watch the house while he informed his sister about their father's return. That evening, on his way back, Hito suddenly spotted Yuki outside, looking elegant and graceful. No wonder people noticed her so much. He approached, asking why she dressed like that. It was just normal clothes, but from last time. She said she wasn't used to it, so she hadn't touched it. The maid sister went out to bring a scarf because she feared he'd be cold. She had warmed it first, so Hitoyoshi could just enjoy it. It felt like a wife seeing off her husband to battle. And today was Christmas, making it even more embarrassing, as only couples do this. Without words, Yuki took the lead. Holding his hand and inviting him on a date, Hearing that, he was shocked, not knowing what happened to the sister. Turns out, earlier, seeing him sad, the maid sister called Riko for advice. The little sister said, if you date, he'd surely cheer up. So, she did it, as she owed him so much. In his sad moments, Yuki hoped to help, even a little. Her face was adorable. So, he agreed to the date invitation. The maid sister loved holding hands, so the pair walked like a married couple. He thought his sister must be happy now. Originally, Riko wanted to ship them. In his mind, he thought about the sister's type. Though older, she had a childlike soul. He wondered if they really had feelings, how it would be, since they lived together. The maid sister sweetly wished Merry Christmas and asked where Hitoyoshi wanted to go. He thought in this cold, eating out was perfect. Snow began falling, blending with neon lights for a romantic scene. He said he loved seeing such sparkles, and that's one reason he liked snow. Yuki heard it like he was saying he loved her. So, she smiled brightly, as her name meant snow. Suddenly, his heart raced seeing her cute face. From then, their feelings grew stronger. A few hours before, when the maid sister called Riko for outfit advice, the little sister was a fashion expert. She knew the sister's figure was great, so she advised a tight dress with a wide-neck sweater to show off the curves. Exposing body lines was her strength. Loving Christmas should be sweet, so this outfit fit. The sister was overwhelmed with info. Luckily, Riko advised enthusiastically. Before the brother returned, she'd help him be happy. Seeing the maid sister in the new style, as she wanted to excite Hitoyoshi more, she followed every word. She hoped to surprise him so much he'd say she was more beautiful than snow. The next day, Riko visited and retold the story, embarrassing the brother. The little sister praised the maid sister as adorable. He asked Riko, do you think she could like me? He couldn't imagine it. Riko wasn't sure, but their affection was high, so time would answer. One day, he'd realize his feelings for the sister. Overall, she supported their love. Living with the opposite gender like this was probably already affection. Hitoyoshi was curious about that. It was Riko testing him. She downloaded a fortune-telling app, so she'd help him see if the person liked him. It's well researched, so accuracy is high. Riko said her friend succeeded in confessing with this. He thought it was coincidence, but out of curiosity he followed. The first question was if they'd touched bodies. Yes, as he often used the sister's lap to sleep. The second asked if he got compliments. That was fine. They talked a lot and Yuki helped in tough times. Plus, they often locked eyes and laughed naturally. The last, had she said she liked him? Yes. The fortune result was 96% they're in love. Seeing that, he was shocked, and Riko was thrilled, as the wedding was near. He thought it wasn't that easy. With 4% risk they wouldn't pair, and the number 4 felt unlucky. Just then, the two maids returned from shopping, and were invited to play fortune-telling. After last night's date, he felt awkward facing her. Riko asked the same questions. For the test, all pointed to them becoming a couple. The sister's score was 100%, how mean, making him embarrassed. Riko was satisfied. That evening, the three enjoyed a mushroom hot pot. The little sister taught the maid sister to stretch her legs for the heater to work fully. In winter, this table is convenient. She said she liked it, but their other home didn't have one. It's been a while since she had hot pot like this, so she thanked the sister, as it's all because of Yuki. Before, this wouldn't happen, as her brother was naughty. Back then, he teased their father by messing under the table to avoid using it, getting teased back. He tried to stop the little sister but couldn't. Riko noticed her brother acting cool in front of the sister, so he did that. Too furious, he planned to kick her, but forgot the sister was sitting next, so her leg blocked it. After kicking, Hitoyoshi saw Riko not reacting and felt strange. Turning to the sister's face, it was like this, making him embarrassed. Suddenly, the little sister thought they were too weird, calling it love's secret. He apologized, as it wasn't intentional. With Riko shipping them, it made them more awkward. In his dream, he wondered what love meant and why it's so complicated. Once, he confessed to a close girl but was rejected. She thought he didn't really like her, just needed a playmate. In that moment, Hitoyoshi thought she was right, but from then he stopped playing with her. He wondered if that wasn't love. Then what was this feeling? Seeing the beautiful sister sleeping beside him, he couldn't describe it. After watching her, he decided to go out. Unaware, Yuki noticed, and he tried to avoid her. Outside, Hitoyoshi blushed, blaming himself for promising that if she had nightmares, she could sleep with him. If this continued, he'd stay up all night. So, he was finding a way to handle it, as winter break was coming, and they'd be together more. Yuki came out asking if he was okay, and he made an excuse. Today's the year-end cleaning, so I planned to wake early. The maid sister believed it fully and got excited. In the bathroom, Hitoyoshi told himself not to fall for her, as it would be hard for both. He feared confessing and getting rejected. Outside, the supermaid was determined to clean. Little Mochi watched and was baffled. The reason Yuki was so happy was to impress him. Last time she messed up, so this time she had to succeed. But when he came down, it was like this. Truly baffled. Hitoyoshi didn't blame her, knowing it was the fat dog's fault. About to tell the sister to change, she took off her wet outer shirt, revealing her curves clearly. Hitoyoshi was so flustered, he ran away. He saw Juki as grown but with a childlike mind, always pure and loving him like family. This made him comfortable. Yet, his desire to love her surfaced. It could break their bond if not careful. Right in front of men, who'd been rejected twice and hated that feeling. Juki asked if her master was okay, as he'd been strange all morning. He came out to explain, then realized she was about to let him rest on her lap as usual. In this mess, lying on her would be too much, so men refused, saying using her lap made him embarrassed. For a high school student to do that, there are issues. Though not understanding, Juki felt like she was disliked, thinking Hitoyoshi was tired of her. So, she cried endlessly. This was his first time seeing her like that. The comedic sister didn't know why tears flowed. How mean. Hitoyoshi had to explain he wasn't criticizing and told the maid sister to bathe to warm up. He silently blamed his poor response, making her worry and cry. After that, every time Juki made a mistake, tears flowed. She feared he'd send her away. That whole day, the maid sister cried everywhere, even trying not to sadden her. Seeing a falling leaf made tears flow. The peak was... That night she snuck over to sleep together because she couldn't sleep. The result left Hitoyoshi reciting prayers all night, as he couldn't sleep. Finally, on New Year's Eve, he collapsed on the couch. Later, when Juki finished cleaning and came out, he was gone. Then men left a note. "Don't worry, I'm going out to let the sister rest." She also took little Mochi for a walk and to buy food. Sadly, today being the end of the year, all stores closed early for family. So, Juki had to go to the supermarket to get something, but it was so big, she didn't know what to do. Spotting good meat, she asked for grilled beef. Top quality. When she brought it home, she was happy. Inside, seeing men preparing food, they realized they bought the same things. As a result, the maid sister cried like a river. Men comforted her, saying theirs weren't the same, as his was already sliced. Hitoyoshi reminded the sister to eat what she could, not to force it. Seeing the one he cared for cry so much, he was sad, blaming himself for not doing better, plus his father would return tomorrow. Too tired, he collapsed on the couch to sleep. And the maid sister covered him with a blanket. The next day, the adorable little sister came to visit the two. On New Year's Day, their family usually went to the temple for luck, but since he was sleeping, they skipped it. Though Juki tried to wake Hitoyoshi, he showed no sign. He was probably exhausted, so they gave up the temple visit. Little Riko was worried, as the 1st of January was Men's birthday, so their family would gather at the temple. Luckily, he's easygoing and doesn't demand gifts, so she thought it was fine. Juki was different. Lately, she's been tormenting herself, so she cried again, surprising Riko, as it was her first time seeing her like that. The maid sister thought her tear ducts had a problem, easily flowing, fearing she'd ruin the sacred atmosphere, so Juki asked to stay home with men. Actually, Riko had plans with friends, so it was okay. She scheduled with the sister for the next day. Soon, she got a message from Naka, inviting her out. Since Naka was lonely with Hitoyoshi still sleeping, the sister agreed to help, so they met at the temple. In her cute outfit, Naka was happy her friend came. Honestly, Juki knew nothing about New Year's temple visits, so she wanted her friend to teach her everything. Naka knew even prayer was new to the maid sister. Teaching enthusiastically, as it's the most important for New Year's luck, they then drew omens. Usually, it shows the year's fate, but it's just symbolic. After drawing, Juki got a bad omen. Naka thought teaching others unknown things was joyful, like true friends. But seeing her friend cry endlessly, she led her to a corner to talk. Don't know why Juki had so much water, crying like rain. The bad omen meant lost items couldn't be found, implying she and her master would part ways. Naka tried to comfort, as such things don't happen. The maid sister was right to worry, as lately Hitoyoshi seemed distant, like drifting away. Fearing one day, men wouldn't need this maid anymore, and she'd return to a lonely life, away from her master. Thinking of that. It's truly sad. From then, tears kept flowing without stopping. Though not said, if Hitoyoshi disliked her, she wouldn't know what to do. Naka had never faced this, so she didn't know how to advise. She shared that she once cried endlessly when she lost her respected mother. Back then it felt like everything collapsed, but thinking of her mother's words, Naka became stronger. People say tears ease pain, and her mother taught that it's the sadness in one's heart. So, the more you cry, the more bottled up sorrow is released. In the end, it's good, as after crying, the body feels lighter. For Naka, crying isn't bad, so she advised her friend to cry out her grief. That way, she'd soon feel bright again, as she did, and after calming, they'd pray to the spirits to lessen the omen's burden. So, after going in, the little friend guided the maid sister on how to pray properly. Juki wished for Hitoyoshi, Riko, and Naka to be happy, and for herself to stay with them forever. Cutting to home now, Men was still sleeping, forgetting about his father's return. After calling without answer, his father decided to come back himself. At the two girls' spot, they talked about today being Men's birthday. Naka asked if her friend knew what gift to give, and Juki didn't. If possible, she wanted a romantic atmosphere, and advised the maid sister to give it when they were alone at night. Now, since she hadn't thought of anything, she needed Naka's advice. Asking what Hitoyoshi liked, she said he liked pork chops like her. Sadly, it couldn't be a gift. Men's room had many small models, so he probably liked that. Immediately, they were at the toy store to choose. Based on Juki's description, her friend guessed Hitoyoshi was a figure collector of displayed heroes. The maid sister then saw a toy like her master's. Naka said each try costs about 300 yen, so consider it, as the rate is low. To make Hitoyoshi happy, the sister played boldly. The result, as expected, opened to useless things. Too sad, so she cried again, tears and nose running. So, Naka had to soothe Juki, fearing she couldn't gift Hitoyoshi. That sentence let his father hear, so he came to help, saying he knew a spell to get what you want. First advice. Crying is useless, it changes nothing. It's the evil exploiting the weak, so Juki had to be strong, spend more money to surely get what she wants. Naka was baffled by the uncle's advice, but it worked. The naive maid sister believed it, putting all her effort like killing a target, trying again to test luck. She chanted, "If you don't come out this time, I'll smash this store." Hearing that, the two were speechless. Anxiously waiting, surprisingly, luck came, and they got the toy like Hitayoshi's. Juki thanked the kind uncle. He smiled, saying he once did this for his son, and now he had to buy more, so he excused himself. Cutting to home, the young man was hit on the head for oversleeping, and he innocently asked about the New Year's ceremony, getting scolded. "Dad's almost here." "And you're talking about ceremonies?" Knowing the maid sister wasn't there, he worried, as he hadn't told her about his father's return. Riko was helpless, not understanding why her brother was like that. They lived together daily, yet Men didn't say. He explained that living together doesn't mean sharing everything, like their family. When his parents separated and left, they didn't tell him. Back then, as a child, he feared his father's emotionless eyes, so he didn't ask why his mother left. In the end, after some time, his father went on a long trip, leaving him alone. Mostly, the housekeeper cared for him until he could live independently. He feared telling Juki how she'd react. Just then, Naka messaged happy birthday, and said she and her friend just returned from the temple. But the maid sister seemed sad, so he encouraged and told the young man to solve it later. Luckily, Juki arrived home in a good mood, saying the New Year's temple was interesting, though she cried a lot, making her eyes swell. Little Riko saw and was concerned about what happened. The maid sister pretended she was fine and went to change, but Men stopped her. He announced his father was coming and hadn't told him about her assassin work, so for now, he wanted her to act normal while he handled it. Hitoyoshi blamed himself for worrying unnecessarily. Juki was trying hard to be normal, so she wouldn't reveal being a top assassin. Men thought, even if his father said or objected, he'd still protect the sister. Hearing that, the little sister was overjoyed, praising her brother as more mature. Like this, he should get married next year. As they argued, they didn't notice their father had arrived. Seeing his children close, he couldn't be happier. Riko immediately hugged him, as she loved him dearly. Men was more reserved, just welcoming him back. The daughter was asked about everything, if she was good at home. She teased, saying like this, he wasn't attractive. The father said, besides his daughter, he didn't need to be. Conveniently, Men mentioned the maid sister from before. He didn't complain, as he saw the houses change, no longer dusty and dirty. He said Juki wasn't just a housekeeper but a true maid with assassin skills and a complex past. Then, she came out in her usual outfit, and the father recognized her as Shue. They realized each other, so they thanked for the gift. The father saw it was serious earlier, so he said that casually. In the end, it still depended on her luck. Knowing she was his master's father, Juki felt it was fate. Hitoyoshi didn't dare say more, letting them talk. First, he asked how long she'd served Mr. Hamaru. Shue said she'd followed her master for 3 years. The father knew she was an assassin, but with her beauty, maybe marry his son. Contrary to their joy, Hitoyoshi felt sad, as he was the one who knew nothing. His father knew her old master died half a year ago and regretted it. That old man was smart and thoughtful. They met in London while working there, and their last meeting was 2 years ago. Back then, the old friend talked about Juki, seeing her as a granddaughter, so he asked him to welcome her home. Hearing that, Men felt like an outsider. At first, he thought he'd have to explain about the sister, but his mysterious father knew everything and even more. This was a father he hadn't understood, like back then. Little Rico was curious why her father knew Juki was an assassin and still agreed. He said, back then, since his friend was alive, he thought it was a joke. Besides, his 2 kids inherited vampire blood from their mother, so what was there to fear? That sounded like a joke, but it was true, as everyone in this house had fangs. Rico didn't expect her father to have such a secret. Juki was dumbfounded, not knowing what vampires were. The little sister recalled last year, after dressing as a vampire, her blood boiled. Hitoyoshi didn't believe it, as his father always joked, using it to hide or avoid things. So, he just observed without digging deep. Suddenly, he realized he'd been overthinking all along. The father called his daughter home with him to talk. Rico stopped him, saying today was her brother's birthday. He knew Men didn't care, so he just wished him and gave the gift from him and his wife. About staying, he'd sleep at a hotel due to some work. Hearing that, Hitoyoshi feared he couldn't answer his questions, so he boldly said the maid sister could continue living here. When his father asked his decision, he said he wanted Juki to stay. Hearing that, the father was happy, telling him to do as he wished since he was 16. He'd talk to his mother, so relax. A vampire blood mixed with assassin isn't bad, so he'd support. This was the first time Hitoyoshi voiced his wish, so he was surprised by his father's answer. The beauty was happy, as her master would keep her home. About to express, the father called, asking his son to hand the phone to the maid sister. This was private, as he was embarrassed. First, he apologized for bothering her, asking if her time here was hard. She said she was fine, as Hitoyoshi treated her well. Hearing that, he was happy, saying his son had changed, surely because of Shui, so he thanked her, and asked her to keep caring for Men. Hearing that, she had no words, immediately inviting her master to stargaze tonight. Seeing her innocent face, he agreed, making the maid sister ecstatic as she carried him to the roof with thrilling excitement. Turns out, it was still light, but she wanted to see the view early. Seeing the sister panting, Hitoyoshi asked if she was really okay. After calming, she wished him happy birthday and presented the gift, but from excitement she accidentally crushed it. Juki cried again, and Men, on the contrary, realized he hadn't conveyed his feelings for their future. About the model, it was from a 10-year-old anime series. Back then, as he liked it, he whined to his father to buy it. As a kid, he admired his father for doing everything, even seeing him as a hero, but since his mother left, he couldn't understand his father anymore. Things became complicated from then, and until now, he feared expressing his heart, thinking he'd be rejected. But now, he didn't want more hurt. He'd avoided for 10 years and didn't want it with the maid sister, so from now on he'd share his thoughts with her. If Juki came for a family, he'd be her family. It sounded like a confession. He asked if she'd stay with him. The maid sister couldn't be happier, as she always wished that. Old memories returned, helping Juki recall her parents and sister. Her tears fell, but this time from happiness. She asked if someone like her deserved to be with him, so she confessed she loved the maid sister. Hearing that, she smiled, saying she felt the same, loving Hitoyoshi. Both teared up, satisfied with the answer. Later, when they came down, the young man couldn't hold back his tears after everything. The next morning, Juki made food as usual, but always remembered Men's words. Her heart raced, making the dog happy for the extra food, as expected. The father also called his daughter home with him because he needed to talk. Rico stopped him, saying today was her brother's birthday. He knew Men didn't care about this, so he just wished him and gave the gift from him and his wife. About staying, he'd sleep at a hotel due to some work. Hearing that, Hitoyoshi feared he couldn't answer his questions, so he boldly said the maid sister could continue living here. When his father asked his decision, he said he wanted Juki to stay. Hearing that, the father was happy, telling him to do as he wished since he was 16. He'd talk to his mother, so relax. A vampire blood mixed with assassin isn't bad, so he'd support. This was the first time Hitoyoshi voiced his wish, so he was surprised by his father's answer. The beauty was happy, as her master would keep her home. About to express, the father called, asking his son to hand the phone to the maid sister. This was private, as he was embarrassed. First, he apologized for bothering her, asking if her time here was hard. She said she was fine, as Hitoyoshi treated her well. Hearing that, he was happy, saying his son had changed, surely because of Shui, so he thanked her, and asked her to keep caring for Men. Hearing that, she had no words, immediately inviting her master to stargaze tonight. Seeing her innocent face, he agreed, making the maid sister ecstatic as she carried him to the roof with thrilling excitement. Turns out, it was still light, but she wanted to see the view early. Seeing the sister panting, Hitoyoshi asked if she was really okay. After calming, she wished him happy birthday and presented the gift, but from excitement, she accidentally crushed it. Juki cried again, and Men, on the contrary, realized he hadn't conveyed his feelings for their future. About the model, it was from a 10-year-old anime series. Back then, as he liked it, he whined to his father to buy it. As a kid, he admired his father for doing everything, even seeing him as a hero. But since his mother left, he couldn't understand his father anymore. Things became complicated from then, and until now, he feared expressing his heart, thinking he'd be rejected. But now, he didn't want more hurt. He'd avoided for 10 years and didn't want it with the maid sister, so from now on, he'd share his thoughts with her. If Juki came for a family, he'd be her family. It sounded like a confession. He asked if she'd stay with him. The maid sister couldn't be happier, as she always wished that. Old memories returned, helping Juki recall her parents and sister. Her tears fell, but this time from happiness. She asked if someone like her deserved to be with him, so she confessed she loved the maid sister. Hearing that, she smiled, saying she felt the same, loving Hitoyoshi. Both teared up, satisfied with the answer. Later, when they came down, the young man couldn't hold back his tears after everything. The next morning, Juki made food as usual, but always remembered Men's words. Her heart raced, making the dog happy for the extra food, as expected.